Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is the 7th of February, and it's Sunday, and it's overcast, and winter has set in, and it's the time of the year when you're just waiting for spring to come. Sleep a lot during this time of the year. There's a lot less to do, and it's just think too much probably sometimes. But I made a video yesterday, and I titled the video Vengeance or Justice. And I think that people have wondered, am I just out for vengeance with the Attorney General or not? And it may seem as though I hammer that guy quite a bit, and I want to explain why. Because actually, you get up in the morning after you make a video like that, and I know it's hurtful to him and his family and the people around him. I know it is. And you carry around a strange sense of guilt, But I review it in my mind, and before I make the video, I make sure I know what I'm talking about. But I went through this personally with this individual. And I review his behavior and the paperwork coming out of his office against who he says he is. We have people that serve in government roles that never mention the Constitution. No. If I'm elected, I'm going to put, free cell phones for everybody. They don't mention the Constitution. No. They're going to give you stuff if they're elected. But this guy runs as a Republican, which as time goes on means less and less to me. But he runs as a constitutionalist, all right? If that were so, then I would not have seen the behavior from him that I saw. I actually saw it. I have the paperwork to prove it. I have a $700,000 fine. I have a department, the Department of Natural Resources, that sought to take my property without due process of law and has devalued my business by probably 3/4 and made life very difficult for me. So people do question whether I am being vengeful, whether this is vengeance that I'm seeking. And I have to kind of question that myself sometimes. But when I wake up in the morning and I feel that strange sense of guilt that maybe I've hurt someone else, I know it isn't vengeance. It is absolutely not vengeance. This is about justice. Whether folks like it or not, this country is a representative republic, and we are governed by a constitution. This is the Constitution that we go by, the U.S. Constitution. Everybody agrees, supreme law of the land. But then we have people like Bill Schuette that say, I'm a constitutionalist, swears in to protect and defend the Constitution, and then they go directly against it. But then he goes to you and says, I am a constitutionalist, elect me, trust me, send your donations to me. So this, to me, is not about vengeance. This is about justice. All right. This individual is not about the Constitution. And I think I want to explain a little bit to folks that don't know me why the Constitution means so much to me. I was military for 20 years, and when you first join up, you take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. You don't know anything. You're in your 20s. You don't know anything about it. I didn't. Or I'll just speak for myself. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know I had the right to free speech, really. But as time goes on and you take that oath again and again and again, every 4 years when you re-enlist, in my case anyway, you know more, you see more, you've educated yourself more about the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is maritime law. It is not, constitutional law. But still, there's similarities, and you're told you're military, you don't go by the same rules as the civilian populace, and we always figure, well, I want to be a civilian then because it'd probably be better. So you do learn about the Constitution, and you learn what you're signing up to protect and defend with everything that you have, with your life. Because as a military person, you use lots of equipment, but you don't own any of it. None of it belongs to you. You're just there to do a job. So it means more to you, and it means a lot to me, the Constitution does. So way back in 2011, when the Department of Natural Resources says, you got to get rid of your property, i.e. my pigs, because we friggin' say so, I thought, wait a minute now. Don't I have constitutional rights? Doesn't the Fifth Amendment say that my life, my liberty, and my property is protected under due process of law? Yes, it does say that. Okay, does this apply? Does the Constitution apply? I ask around. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, how can they do this? Well, because they're trying to protect the environment. Oh, so the environment supersedes my constitutional rights. That's what they're saying, Mark. No, I don't buy it. Having been to other countries and having seen human life devalued to be lower on the totem pole than the environment, lower on the totem pole than the animals, lower on the totem pole than just about anything. I don't want that. I don't want my children to grow up in a society like that. So this Constitution is very important to me. And oh, by the way, I hit the press the test button on it in a court of law. And that's when the Attorney General backed off. And they dropped all charges against me 13 days prior to our trial, where we wanted the Department of Natural Resources to come out and explain their rendition of the invasive species order. Explain this before God and country. They didn't want to do it. They're pushing it again. It's coming again. You'll see it. But it never should have got to that point. Why? Because we've hired an Attorney General, right, who says he's a constitutionalist, and he should have put the kibosh to that. Whoa, right now. Like, wait a minute. That's people's property. You can't take their property without due process. You can't do it. But he didn't. He piled on. He said, yeah, let's do this. Same thing's going on right now with the whole Flint situation. Bill Schuette is defending the people who did it, who poisoned those children, who shirked their duty and people died, right? Bill Schuette should have, he's saying he's not in the loop, so now he's going to defend these guys. He should have said, hey, life, liberty, property, man, this has to be priority. But no, they were going to push it off for 3 years until the pipeline was in. Bad decision. And now it's biting him. And he wants to set himself up as somebody that is going to be a champion for the people. I'm going to investigate this governor. It's baloney. Don't buy it. And as a Constitution-loving defender of freedom that I am, I'm duty-bound to tell you who this guy is. I'm absolutely duty-bound to do that, to tell you who he is. And though I feel a sense of guilt over it, it has to be done. You need to know who this guy is. He has an agenda. He wants to be your next governor. But that's not the end. Governors, it's a stepping stone for greater things. I'm not saying that I got a better guy over here. I don't. And I'm certainly not running for that office. I'm just telling you, see who this guy is. And don't buy it, because he's not who he says he is. He is not a defender of the Constitution, and he really needs to be voted out, not put in the governor's position. And if you are a defender of this document, you should have this on, and as you read it, you start to get angry when you see what they do. And maybe you can get a little bit more aggressive in calling that office and saying, tell me how Mr. Schuette feels as though this is not a conflict of interest. Him investigating the governor's actions, but also defending the governor in a professional sense. That's an extreme conflict of interest. That's being done purposefully so they can placate the public and say, yeah, we're doing an investigation on this. We'll get to the bottom of this. Actually, we're going to have an FBI guy do it. Oh, that brings real credibility to the whole thing, right? I got nothing against that guy. I don't know him. And I would hope that the FBI is who they say they are. But I've seen him kill a lot of people. And it worries me when you bring in federal jurisdiction because it is so heavy-handed. All right. So I said what I said yesterday, and I stand by it. It's Mark from Acres Green Acres. Anyone can farm.